60 million years ago, our dogs and cats shared the same ancestor. It was a group of small carnivores called maiacids, which means mother animal. They had survived the recent extinction of the dinosaurs and were now living in a very different world. They shared it with the ancestors of horses and rhinos, deer, and pigs. The first prehistoric whales crawled into the sea and decided to stay, never to return to the land. At the beginning of the era, most of the carnivorous mammals were very small. Halfway through this era, cats and dogs split and went their separate ways. The first cats were big predators who hunted grazing herbivores. About 3.4 million years ago, our smaller cats split off from the big cats. It was 10 to 15,000 years ago that humans started hanging out with cats as we know them today. Or rather, cats started hanging out with humans as we all know that cats are the ones in charge. Now, we still weren't feeding cats. They just liked all the rodents that we attract with our smelly human activities like farming. The cats that we know and love came out of East Africa. Vikings and explorers took them all over the world on their ships. Cats kept rodents under control, which cut down disease. Some ships used to lose more than half of their sailors to disease on a single voyage. So cats were celebrated for their skills. Throughout history, cats have fascinated us. Ancient Egyptians associated them with the gods and mummified their pet cats. The ancient Norse also saw them as divine beings. A pair of huge cats, possibly a gift from Thor, even pulled the goddess Freya's chariot. The ancient Romans brought them into their homes to keep rodents under control. The alternatives at the time were snakes or even weasels, who were smelly and moody. Now, when it came to food, cats were left to fend for themselves, since they're such amazing hunters. In fact, helping themselves to the rodents around us was their main job. They protected our food from pests, and we protected them from larger predators, like wolves. Fast forward to now, and cats are all over the globe and living happily with humans. There are now between 40 and 70 recognized cat breeds, but almost all of their DNA is exactly the same as their wild ancestors. And no one could argue there's not some wild animal still left in our furry feline family. Our modern cats have some pretty awesome adaptations, and they've lost none of their wild senses in spite of living much simpler lives in our homes. Cats originated in desert climates. In their world, they are incredible hunters, perfectly in tune with their environment. They're sleek, agile. They can jump 5 times the length of their body and land on a target the size of a mouse. Their reflexes are faster than a snake can strike. Cats have 30 sharp teeth designed for hunting and eating meat, and 18 razor-sharp claws that retract from powerful paws made for grabbing. They have fantastic vision, excellent at detecting and tracking movement, even in the dark. Their special slitted irises allow more light in when they need it. They like to hunt in the darkness of early morning or just as night falls. They can hear the tiniest squeak, and using 32 muscles attached to each ear, they can pinpoint the source down to the centimeter. They have a burning, instinctive desire to hunt, up to 20 times a day. Cats can pick up scents over a quarter of a mile away, and using a special organ called the Jacobson's organ, they can even taste scents on the air. They can smell the difference between a wren and a sparrow with a broken wing. These guys have some serious super senses. Vision, hearing, smell, their whiskers even give them an enhanced sense of touch. They can detect pressure changes in the air. Cats have such an incredible ability to detect prey, to lock onto it and take it down. And they are absolute masters of stealth. They love to climb, to hide, to stalk. To them, your house is a wilderness. They're also far less social than dogs. Now, feral house cats can form prides, just like lions, But cats are typically loners by nature. They'll have a territory and work hard to hold it. They notice new things in their environment very quickly, and they're curious. You know this if you've ever left a cardboard box laying around just to find a tail sticking out of it. Cats have far less taste buds than humans, less than 500 compared to our over 9,000, though their sense of smell more than makes up for it. They can't taste sweet, but they love umami, meaty, savory flavors, which makes sense for obligate carnivores. In the wild, they only eat meat. They can also taste bitter very well, which helps them avoid spoiled foods. Their sense of smell is also attuned to prey, which makes them pretty lousy for sniffing out truffles, but excellent at finding rodents. Cats are commonly called picky, which is true, but for a reason. In the wild, they're surrounded by animals that may be dangerous or poisonous. If they had to figure out what's safe to hunt by trial and error, we wouldn't have cats. None of them would last a week. So when they're young, they watch mom carefully and copy exactly what she does, how she hunts, what she eats, everything. This is called imprinting, and it is some serious biological programming designed to keep them alive. But it also explains why they're so reluctant to try new things. To them, it's an unnecessary risk. The amazing adaptations of cats have allowed them to thrive for millions of years and to spread all across the world. Cats are still brimming with natural instincts, and though they enjoy life with humans, they're very capable of providing for themselves.